Namaste and welcome to the Center for the Healing Arts YouTube channel. Today we will explore a yin yoga practice to boost our immune system. This practice is centered on the Lung Meridian. The Lung Meridian in ancient Chinese medicine teaches, or ancient Chinese medicine, Namaste and welcome to the Center for the Healing Arts YouTube channel. Today we will share a practice focused on boosting our immune system and the Lung Meridian. In ancient Chinese medicine, we learned that the Lung Meridian, or the lungs, are the first point of attack for any type of disease. And this certainly is proving true during the present pandemic that's attacking our lungs. The Lung Meridian begins in the center of the body, flows up through the lungs, through the shoulders, down the center part of the arm, and ends in the tip of the thumb. There is a very simple massage practice, acupressure practice, that we can use to help strengthen our Lung Meridian, help cleanse our Lung Meridian, and also boost our immune system at the same time. So simply cross your arms, place your hands underneath your arms, and notice where your thumbs are lying. They're lying in between the shoulder girdle and that soft part of your tissue here on the upper part of your torso. And notice where your fingers are. They're right underneath your armpit, right where the lymph nodes are. So your thumbs are placed in the lung 1 pressure point and the lung 2 pressure point, right in this area. And particularly lung 1 is a point where we can help release negative emotions, help release things that have been bothering us and troubling us for some time. And then a small gentle massage with the fingertips on the lymph nodes can also be very helpful for boosting our immune system. So that's a nice, easy self-massage acupressure point that we can be using. Second thing to consider, obviously, is our nutrition, eating healthily, but making sure that we're including a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables in our diet. We may wish to supplement with vitamin C at this time if we're trying to help boost our immunity or perhaps get over a disease that has been besetting us. And finally, the carotenoids, the beautiful dark orange vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, even broccoli. Those are wonderful vegetables for us to eat on a daily basis, and actually drink a glass of carrot juice every day. So those are some simple things that we can do to help boost our immunity, to help take care of ourselves. Ayurveda teaches that we are our own healers. So it begins with us, with our own choices that we make. One position that I would like to review with us is something called proning. This is being used now in a lot of intensive care settings in the United States, where the patient is lying down, face down on a table, or perhaps in a crouched position, and coughing in this very deep position, coughing from the diaphragm. Now notice this position. This is child's pose. This is balasana, or child's pose in yoga. So if we are practicing yoga, doing deep breaths and perhaps even coughing, that may be something that we can do to help clear our lungs and to help our own lung health. So let's begin with our yoga practice. For our practice today, you may wish to have a meditation pillow. This helps keep your hips slightly above your knees when we're seated. A small bolster may be useful, a folded blanket, or maybe even 2 folded blankets instead of the bolster, if that's something that is more at hand for you. Always in yoga, we begin with our breath. So I invite you now to come to a calm seated position, however you are comfortable, perhaps closing your eyes, perhaps casting your eyes downward. and focusing on our breath. Always in yoga, we're breathing through our nose, allowing the breath to come through our lungs and into the deep, deep lower part of our lungs. Diaphragm is working, stomach expands, and with the exhale, stomach flows back in. Inhale fully, exhale. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. Shoulders fall away from the ears, allowing our spine to straighten. Relaxing our face, relaxing our hands, enjoying this moment that we're taking on our mat. Honoring our own bodies, honoring our own health. We may wish to form an intention for our practice today. Perhaps that's an intention for healing for our bodies. Perhaps that's an intention for our families, a friend, or perhaps for our world, but a special intention that will hold with us in our hearts for our practice. Deep exhale, sinking the arms. Arms come overhead with the inhale. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Hands overhead, deep inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, nice deep inhale. Exhale fully, hands to heart. Holding our intention in our heart. Feeling the energy between our hands. And then releasing our hands, we're going to come into an intensive stretch for our shoulders. So what we'll do is shoulders move away from the ears, shoulder blades come together. We're going to allow our arms to press back, interlace the fingers, palms press out, and then looking up at the ceiling, palms press out, arms lift. Affirmation, I take care of my body. I take care of my body. Deep inhale, exhale. Chest pressed upwards. And exhale, arms come forward, perhaps a few gentle shoulder rolls in one direction, and perhaps a few shoulder rolls in the other direction to reset our shoulders, reset our bodies. And then coming into tabletop position. Okay. Tabletop position, the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. I get a few cat-cows just to warm up our spine. Beginning with our stomachs pulling in, exhaling cat, inhaling cow, exhaling cat, inhaling cow. And then walking our hands forward, you may wish to use your bolster or a rolled blanket if that's more convenient for you. Walking our hands forward, we're going to come into Sphinx. Classic Sphinx pose is with the elbows underneath the shoulders. Shoulders pulled away from the ears, shoulder blades come together, and legs completely relaxed. Here is classic Sphinx pose. Now, you may wish to use a bolster with your Sphinx pose, which is absolutely wonderful. Remember, this is your body and your practice, and you are the expert in your body. So that might be one position that you like. Another position is that perhaps you could straighten your arms out a little bit more in Sphinx. Your choice. I will choose today to do the classic Sphinx pose. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Affirmation: I nourish my body with the best foods. I nourish my body with the best foods. Jaw relaxed, eyes relaxed. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. Notice where you're experiencing this particular movement in your body. Maybe you're feeling this in the lower back, maybe in the shoulders. And with an exhale, we will come into child's pose. Let's make this an active child's pose. So knees come out, toes pressed together, arms, elbows come up, fingertips come forward, and feel the stretch in the side. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. And now we'll come into a cobra variation, again thinking about our lung meridian and our shoulders. One way we can do this is pretending that we have a little marble at the end of our nose and rolling our marble coming forward. In this particular asana, the hands are underneath the shoulders, the forehead presses on the mat, elbows are pressed together. And then we're going to take our hands, again, interlace our fingers, press our palms back, and the head and shoulders rise gently up off of the mat, raising our arms, raising our arms. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. And releasing the pose, hands pressed down. We're going to take our bolster and do a supported child's pose for the counter pose for this particular asana. So we're going to lie down again, wide-legged child's pose. Lie down on our bolster or our folded blanket. Affirmation: I nourish and care for my body. And then coming back into tabletop position, block comes away or bolster comes away from the moment. In tabletop position, we're going to do a flowing cat-cow. So we're going to come into cat, hips drop down, and then scooping up into cow. Cat, hips come down, scooping into cow. This nice flowing movement. Affirmation: healing energy flows through me. Healing energy flows through me. Synchronizing our breath with the movement. Cow for the inhale, cat for the exhale. And then releasing the asana, crossing the legs, pushing ourselves back into a seated pose. We're going to do a reverse tabletop here, so there are two options. The first one is having our fingertips pressed forward, bending our knees, soles of the feet pressed against the mat, lifting the hips, reverse tabletop. Another position that we may wish to use is straightening our legs. Again, our hands facing forward, pressing up. Hips come up, perhaps dropping the head back. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. And lowering the hips, bending the knees, sinking the knees left and right for a reset for our bodies. And then coming into a wide angle stretch. It may be useful to use the bolster or a folded blanket and your meditation pillow together. What could be useful is to come this way and a nice stretch for the inner thigh. That's one option, or without the bolster tower, just walking ourselves down. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. Jaw relaxed, eyes relaxed. And then pressing the palms of our hands, coming up. One hand comes to opposite thigh, arm comes up, and then stretching to the side. If it's available, we may wish to grasp our toe or our foot and think ear to knee if it's available. If not, just coming as far as possible. Feel the stretch in the side, perhaps in the shoulder, perhaps in the arm. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Releasing the hand, coming up, knees come together, left and right for a nice reset for our bodies. Feet come wide again, and the other side, hand comes to opposite thigh, arm overhead and stretching over as much as is comfortable for you. Remember not to overstretch, but allow the body to work so that we can be able to get as much of the benefit from these movements as possible. Inhale deeply, exhale fully. Being kind to our bodies, respecting our bodies. Allowing ourselves to relax into the movement. And then coming up again, feet together, knees come to one side to the other. We will now do a supported fish pose. So taking either our folded blanket or our bolster, and a couple of options here. So we'll start out knees bent, soles of the feet pressed against the floor. We're going to come back, and the bolster, the folded blanket, is underneath your shoulders. Arms come overhead, so we're feeling this nice stretch in our arms, thinking again about our lung meridian. Knees can either stay bent or they can straighten. Now, what you may wish to do is to place the meditation pillow underneath your head for a little bit of not quite as intense stretch. Or you can remove the meditation pillow and get a little bit more of a stretch. Your choice. This is your practice. This is your body. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Relaxing the arms. Coming out of the asana, arms come up overhead, knees bend, grasp underneath your knees, underneath your thighs, chin to chest. Pull yourself up. Careful when you come out of these particular asanas. And again, windshield wipering our knees for a nice reset for our bodies. And for our final asana before we go into our pranayama, taking the bolster by the side, lowering our bodies with control down into the mat. The right leg stretches straight. The left knee comes over and rests on the bolster or the folded blanket. Arms stretch out into a T position and look over your opposite shoulder if that's available. Just feeling the nice deep stretch. Twists are a wonderful detox for our bodies. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Coming out of the asana, knees to chest, pulling our knees into our chest, feeling the nice stretch in our lower back, grasping the sides of our soles of our feet, happy baby rocking back and forth, a nice massage for our lower back. And then coming into the other side, I'll scoot around so it's easier to see. Okay. So the left leg is stretched out. Okay. And the right leg crosses over. The lower leg presses into the bolster. Arms come out into a T, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. And then again, knees come to chest, pulling the knees in, grasping the outside of the soles of the feet, rocking back and forth. Very nice massage for the lower back. And then rolling up to easy seated pose. And I would like to share with us a breathing practice which is designed to clear our lungs. Again, remembering that the lungs can be the seat of some very negative emotions for us, sadness, grief. And one way to clear our lungs is to deeply, deeply exhale and think about all of those thousands of little air sacs that we have in our lungs, the alveoli, and clearing those out of any kind of stale air that's holding on to those negative emotions. So in this practice, we're going to exhale for the count of 8, and then before taking an inhale, wait until your body actually says that it needs air, and then take a fresh air inhale. I'll count us through it, but if you want to do this on your own, exhale and then try to release as much air as possible, wait, and then take a deep cleansing breath in. So again, either looking down at the floor or closing our eyes to focus, breathing normally. And then we begin with exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lungs out, lungs clear, a deep breath in. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lungs clear, deep cleansing breath. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lungs clear, deep cleansing breath in. And breathing normally. My body is strong and free of disease. My body is strong and free of disease. And then coming down into our mat for our final asana, yoga dessert, shavasana. Perhaps it's useful to place the bolster or a folded blanket underneath your knees. Perhaps it's useful to cover up with another blanket to keep our bodies warm. We have been working, and it's a good idea to keep our bodies warm after we've been using them in any kind of way. And then sinking down into the mat, palms facing upward, shoulder blades pressed into the mat, opening the heart center. And again, focusing on our diaphragm breathing. With the inhale, stomach comes out. Exhale, stomach falls in. Remembering our intention that we began today's practice. Remembering our affirmations.